What is going on, guys? My name is Stuber, and I'm here to break down this 10-game Friday, January 9th NBA slate on Draftkings Fanduel, and of course, the sponsor of this video, PrizePicks.com. We had a big night yesterday, but before we get into things, if you guys could do this would really help me out. Just because I've had some issues with my YouTube channel getting out there. If you guys could drop a like, subscribe, and then comment anything below, that would really help me out, help out the algorithm, help get this free content out to more people. And if you do so, you will automatically be entered into a $25 giveaway via Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, whatever it may be. I select that winner every single Sunday. So if you guys could do that, I would really appreciate it. And again, guys, it is very important to join this Discord. We are nearing 1,000 members. It is completely free to join. So I'm trying to convince you guys to join something that's completely free. As you're watching this video, even if you're the first viewer, it is currently 5:30 a.m. my time, Central Time, and the game-by-game notes for all 10 games are already up. If you want to get a head start on the slate, make sure to do that. Later in the day, I will be posting my cheat sheets, my player pools, and my complete FanDuel lineups over on that Discord. Completely free to enter. Make sure to join in the description below. And then as well, guys, I will be live streaming on Twitch, twitch.tv/TaylorSuper. Link is also in the description an hour before the slate locks. And it will be absolutely vital on this big 10-game slate to get the most up-to-date news. I will be breaking that all down for you guys, as well as answering as many questions as I possibly can. That's kind of what differentiates myself between everybody else. I try to get to every single one of you as much as I possibly can. But I appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing me so far. But let's just jump right into this 10-game slate. So we will start with the Phoenix Suns at the Detroit Pistons. The 217 over-under. Suns are currently 6.5 point favorites. So Jalen Smith is currently out. So a relatively healthy roster for the Phoenix Suns. The starting lineup looks to always play 32 plus minutes, the entirety of them, even down to Mikal Bridges. He is 5,500. His minutes got cut back a bit because of foul trouble, but looks like he's going to be playing 32 plus minutes a game. The only guy I'm really interested in on this team, though, is Chris Paul. He's a 21.5% usage rating, 8.5 total rebound percentage, 43.1 assist percentage, leading the team in that rate, averaging 1.12 fantasy points per minute. And my problem with him early in the season was he was only playing around 30 minutes, but now he's playing upwards of 36 minutes. So I do like his price point on both sides. And I'm going to go a bit quicker with these just so I can get through all 20 teams. If you guys want the rest of my game notes, going to be in the Discord in the free content tab. Make sure to check that out. Move over to the Detroit Pistons. Killian Hayes is out. Derrick Rose, Josh Jackson, they are both expected to play. They do have the Q-Talks, but I'm expecting them to fully play. Wayne Ellington started in the first game without Killian Hayes. Was on pace to play 34 minutes before the game ended up blowing out. He's averaged 0.84 fantasy points per minute so far this year. So I think he's a fine value play at 3.4K. I expect him to get the start of game. This game should stay competitive. And then Blake Griffin, his price tag is down to $6,000 on DraftKings, but a lot of it has to do with his minutes, and those minutes situations have come due to blowouts. So if this game does stay competitive at 6,000, I do like him quite a bit. He has a 22% usage rating, 7.1 total rebound percentage, 26.5 assist percentage, averaging 0.91 fantasy points per minute without Hayes on the court so far this year. So 26.5% assist percentage. He's the main ball handler when he is out there. And then Derrick Rose, I think he's going to end up continuing to come off the bench, play 28 minutes, but no more. He is still on that minutes cap, so that really caps his upside. Move over to the Washington Wizards and the Boston Celtics, one of the highest over-unders on the slate at 234.5. Celtics are 5.5 point favorites. Now, this is one of the injury news that we're going to have to monitor the most. Russell Westbrook is questionable. He may indeed miss this game. I'm leaning towards him missing this game. But we will adapt later on when it comes to it. Davis Bertans is completely off that minutes limit. Played 31 and 33 minutes in each of his last two games, and even started the second half of the last game over Denny Advia. So I don't mind Bertans. I played him last game, and we got him at like 2% ownership, and he scored 26 fantasy points, and there's upside for more. His shot wasn't even falling from three. So once his three starts falling, and he's playing 31, 33 minutes, his price tag is going to be in the 6K range, and we're getting a discount on him right now. But Bradley Beal, he's coming off a 60 real point game. Bradley Beal, 40.6% usage, 10.3 total rebound percentage, 25.9 assist percentage, averaging 1.57 fantasy points per minute with Westbrook off the court. So if Westbrook does indeed miss this game, I'm going to smash Bradley Beal into most of my lineups. And then Thomas Bryant, I think, will get a pretty severe uptick in points per minute with Westbrook off the court. We could see Ish Smith or Raul Neto grab the start in his place. Move over to the Boston Celtics. Kemba Walker is out, obviously. Tristan Thompson, Jeff Teague, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, Javonte Green. They are all questionable, and all these guys are in the rotation when they are healthy. So a lot of things to monitor throughout the day. But the Marcus Smart, he did return last game. Played 32 plus minutes again, so he's back into his normal rotation. Then Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown, these are really the only two guys that I'm interested in as of right now. Jason Tatum, a 29.8% usage rating, averaging 1.33 fantasy points per minute. He's playing like 36, 38 minutes a game. And he gets a massive pace-up spot against a weak defense against the Wizards. And then Jalen Brown, who's actually been probably their best player this year so far, 29.4% usage, 1.25 fantasy points per minute. I think he's way too cheap over on FanDuel, way too cheap. 8,000 is way too cheap. And then over here on Prize Picks, this is the craziest projection, 38. This is 5 points lower than what I currently have him projected for in this matchup. So I will be smashing the over on Jalen Brown. And while I'm at it, I'll be smashing the over on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 36. That's 4 points lower than what I currently have him at. If you guys watched my video yesterday and tailed what I said in the video, I liked the overs on Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. I liked correlating both those guys because they were playing against each other. They both hit in regulation, and then in overtime they obviously hit it over by even more. So if you guys are playing over here, we've been having a good time, and it's the best way to support me. Make sure to sign up and deposit using code Taylor, TAYLOR. When depositing, you'll receive a 100% instant match bonus, and it's like a parlay system. So if you can think you can guess the over and under on multiple of these guys, you can up to 10x your money, and I'm giving away my free plays every single day in the Discord and in my Twitch streams, and of course in this video right now. So I like the overs on Jalen Brown, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then if Westbrook misses, you can add Bradley Beal over to that anyways. And Bradley Beal over, even with Westbrook healthy, is a pretty solid play. Move over to the Charlotte Hornets and the New Orleans Pelicans. At 217 over under. Pelicans are 6.5 point favorites. Start with the Hornets. Cody Zeller is out. LaMelo Ball, he's facing Lonzo Ball in this game. Should be a pretty exciting time. I'm going to make sure to tune into this game because LaMelo Ball really seems like he's taking over this team. He has a 24.3% usage rating, 11.1 total rebound percentage, a 30.6 assist percentage, which is the highest on the team, averaging 1.25 fantasy points per minute, which is also highest on the team without Cody Zeller on the court. Gordon Hayward, I think he's one of the few mainstays in this offense. This offense is pretty fluid. Whoever's playing the best on the team at that current moment is going to be rewarded more minutes, and that's why LaMelo's been playing more minutes. PJ Washington continues to play start at the 4, get back up minutes behind Bismack Biyombo. He's a 22.2% usage rating, averaging 1.04 fantasy points per minute without Cody Zeller. And then Gordon Hayward, 24.5% usage rating, averaging 1.13 fantasy points per minute. Move over to the New Orleans Pelicans. JJ Redick is questionable. He missed last game. He got injured during the game, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker ended up playing the last 17.5 minutes of that game with Redick being injured. Him and Josh Hart should receive the most minutes if JJ Redick were to miss this game. And then Eric Bledsoe's minutes should be a bit more secure. The other guy that I'm interested in on this team is Brandon Ingram, a 30.3% usage rating, 10.5 total rebound percentage, 27.5 assist percentage, averaging 1.27 fantasy points per minute, playing 36 to 40 minutes in competitive games. And he leads in all of those rates outside of total rebound percentage, but 10.5 total rebound percentage is nothing to to ignore. So his price is probably still too cheap given the minutes that he's playing right now. Move over to the Oklahoma City Thunder at the the New York Knicks. 208.5 over under. Knicks are currently 2.5 point favorites. This is the lowest over under on the slate. Start with the Thunder, where I spoke about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander earlier. Ty Jerome, Trevor Ariza, Pokusevski is also out this game, which is something new. He was in the rotation playing 16 to 20 minutes. But I'm really only interested in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. 27% usage rating, 33.1 assist percentage, averaging 1.14 fantasy points per minute, leads the team in all of those rates. He should be playing around 36 minutes in competitive games. He finally blew up last time after I kept playing him. It finally paid off last time. But as long as the rates are going to continue to be there, he's going to eventually put together a string of those games together. And then Darius Bazley, I think, is a decent play. He's averaging 0.99 fantasy points per minute, playing 30 to 32 minutes. But his price has been rising because of that. Move over to the New York Knicks. Alec Burks, Frank Ntilikina, Obi Toppin are all out. Nerlens Noel is questionable. If Nerlens Noel misses this game again, I'm going to be playing all the Mitchell Robinson I can. Last game, Nerlens Noel missed. Mitchell Robinson ended up playing 41 minutes. So we see this is a Thibodeau team. When he likes the starters, he's going to run them into the ground. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett both lead the league in minutes per game. Julius Randle, 38.4 minutes. RJ Barrett, 38.1 minutes. And we can still get RJ Barrett at 6.9K. So I like both those guys on FanDuel. Their prices are a bit more appealing. And it is a good matchup against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Austin Rivers has played 32 and 33 minutes in each of his last two games since coming back from injury. But the team is getting a bit healthier, so it's hard to assume that he's going to continue to play those kind of minutes, but we could definitely see it, and his price is at 4.3K, so it has risen quite a bit. But Julius Randle this year at 28.1% usage rating, 16.2 total rebound percentage, 30.4 assist percentage, leads the team, averaging 1.28 fantasy points per minute. So I absolutely love Julius Randle. 9.8K, that seems like a crazy price tag for him, but it's pretty warranted as of right now. RJ Barrett at 22.4% usage rating, 10.1 total rebound percentage, 13.4 assist percentage, averaging 0.88 fantasy points per minute. But again, he's playing 38.1 minutes per game. Doesn't matter if the game's blowing out. They're going to play in big minutes. And then Mitchell Robinson, he has a 14.8 total rebound percentage, averaging 0.9 fantasy points per minute. Move over to the fifth game of the slate with the Orlando Magic at the Houston Rockets. At 226 over-under, Rockets are 6-point favorites. So, unfortunately, Markelle Fultz is going to be out for a while. He is out this game. Michael Carter-Williams, Chuma Okeke, he's also out. Evan Fournier is questionable. Cole Anthony ended up replacing and starting the second half for Markelle Fultz after he got injured. Cole Anthony only had a 12.5 assist percentage last game when he was playing with the starters, replacing Markelle Fultz. Nikola Vucevic ended up having a team-high 28.6 assist percentage. So I think Cole Anthony, his rates were absolutely absurd, but that was with him playing with the backups. Now he's going to end up starting next to the starters, and I think his rates are going to start taking a hit, and he's going to be very popular, so I'm going to temper my expectations on him. It is a plus matchup against the Houston Rockets, but they did raise his price up to $5,000, so I don't think he's nearly as good of a play as people are going to make it seem out to be. I'm going to definitely be underweight. I think it's more of Nikola Vucevic is going to take over for this offense, and the ball is going to run through him. Could see Gary Clark start for Terrence Ross or for Evan Fournier if he misses again. Aaron Gordon is still on a minutes limit. Terrence Ross has a 26.2% usage rating, 1.06 fantasy points per minute. He should see a larger role with Markelle Fultz out and potentially Evan Fournier. He only played 21 minutes last game, but that was due to foul trouble and a blowout. But I think the Magic players overall are much better plays over on FanDuel. Move over to the Houston Rockets. Daniel House is out. Christian Wood, Ben McLemore, they are questionable. If Christian Wood misses again, I'm going to be all over DeMarcus Cousins. He would be an S-tier play. If you guys watch or look at my cheat sheets, he would be an S-tier play. If he does miss this game, they did raise his price to 5.1K over here on DraftKings, but he's averaging 1.52 fantasy points per minute. So if he only plays 22, 24 minutes like he did last time, I'm still going to be all over him. It is a decent matchup against the Orlando Magic. And he has upside of playing 24, 26, 28 minutes. Definitely a possibility. So going to have to be monitoring the status of Christian Wood throughout the day. And then it seems like James Harden's rates are coming down this year. Now, obviously, there's no Westbrook, but some of that's going to be replaced by John Wall. But instead of playing next to P.J. Tucker at the 5, he's playing next to Christian Wood and DeMarcus Cousins. So his rates are taking a hit this year. He's not being needed nearly as much on offense as he was in years past. And so this 11K price tag is a bit too much for me. And then John Wall should play around 37 minutes in competitive games. He has a 28.9% usage rating, 28.9 assist percentage, averaging 1.15 fantasy points per minute. I think he's still a bit too cheap at 8K. I guess he's priced appropriately. I guess there is some value in that price. Move over to the Brooklyn Nets and the Memphis Grizzlies at 222 over under. Nets are 4.5 point favorites. Let me take a drink real quick. Sorry about that. I would start with the Brooklyn Nets. So Kyrie Irving, he just doesn't want to play basketball. And I wish I was kidding, but that's literally the reason he's not active in these games. He wasn't active last game. And on the first leg of this back-to-back and the second leg of a back-to-back, he just doesn't want to play basketball right now. So that's the most Kyrie Irving thing I've ever heard of. But he's going to be joining Kevin Durant, Tyler Johnson, and Spencer Dinwiddie on the bench. None of those 4 guys are going to be playing, so we're going to get another super good game from Caris LeVert, I would assume. He has a 35.1% usage rating, 38.4 assist percentage, averaging 1.37 fantasy points per minute without Kyrie Irving, Durant, and Dinwiddie since the beginning of last year. So a very large sample size. And 2 of the games that he has started this year, I'll pull it up right now. He has scored 50.75 fantasy points and 60.5 fantasy points. And he'll play upwards of 36 minutes if need be, if this game is competitive like it should be. And his price at 7.4K is way too cheap. He should be in the 9K range. So as long as he's not there with these guys out, I'm going to be playing him at 7.4K. He's going to be an easy S tier play for me on every site today. Absolutely love him. Jared Allen has started each of the last 2 games and has played 32 minutes in that first game, but DeAndre Jordan was in severe foul trouble, picked up 4 fouls in 4 minutes. So I wouldn't expect 32 minutes, but he played 28 minutes last game in a more normal scenario. And I think that's something you can rely on. But he has been very good, averaging 1.28 fantasy points per minute. If he's playing 28 minutes, I still think the 6.8K price tag is warranted. Chris Chiozza, he's a very good fantasy point per minute player. I know a lot of guys in the Discord were all over him. But he is strictly playing backup minutes behind Caris LeVert. So never playing behind him, or never playing beside him, only getting the backup minutes. So he only ended up playing 16 minutes, did very well in those 16 minutes. So if you want to play a guy that's only playing 16 minutes, I mean, you better hope that he does well in that short amount of time. And then Joe Harris, he's come off the bench. He's come off the bench for the second straight game. Looks like he was on pace to play around 30 minutes that first game. The second game, he did play 30 minutes and was a GPP winner. You needed to have him. He should be second on this team in terms of usage behind Caris LeVert. And he is only 5.5K. I think he's a very solid play in a good matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. But it's really hard to trust any of these other value plays on the team because, like the first game, we saw Bruce Brown went off and got all the minutes, and Taurean Prince didn't do all that much, and then the roles reversed, and so it's really hard to predict any of these players, these value players for the Brooklyn Nets. Move over to the Memphis Grizzlies. John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr. Are both out. John Concher is questionable. If he was to return, he should resume his role as the immediate backup to Dillon Brooks. Wouldn't be in play, just something to mention. Could take away some minutes from Grayson Allen, I suppose. But DeAnthony Melton is a guy I really want to talk about. He's finally eating into Tyus Jones' minutes. Tyus Jones' minutes fell back to 26 minutes that last game. And then DeAnthony Melton ended up playing, I believe, 22 minutes, if I can correct myself, 21 minutes. And so if his minutes are going to continue to increase at 3.4K, I love him. I like him more than Chris Chiozza because I am pretty sure I'm going to get more minutes than him. And his rates are very, very good. 22.8% usage rating, 10.6 total rebound percentage, 22.3 assist percentage, averaging 1.08 fantasy points per minute since the beginning of last year without John Morant and Jaren Jackson on the court. So I absolutely love him at 3.4K. Don't know if I necessarily trust him in cash games. I don't think you need him, but in GPPs, if you're trying to get to these high-priced guys, he is going to be one of my favorite value plays. And then Brandon Clark, he continues to start and play 29 to 30 minutes. He's averaged 1.03 fantasy points per minute since last year without John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. on the court. 4 more games. So we start with the Utah Jazz and the Milwaukee Bucks at 231.5 over/under, one of the largest on the slates. Bucks are -6 favorites. Joe Ingles is questionable. If he misses, I think you can give Bojan Bogdanovic and Georges Niang a couple more minutes because he was playing at 26, 28, 30 minutes a game. But then Donovan Mitchell, his true shooting percentage is down 7% this year, but his usage remains to be over 30%. So once his shot starts falling, he's going to absolutely destroy this price tag. His price tag is down because he's been in a lot of blowouts, so his minutes are down, and then his true shooting has just been super poor this year. So once that goes back to normality and this game stays competitive, Donovan Mitchell could be one of the better plays on the slate, especially in GPPs. Could absolutely break the slate. One of my favorite plays on the slate. Now, on the other side, if you're going to play Donovan Mitchell, you're going to assume that this game is competitive. And if this game is competitive, you're going to want some of these Bucks players. Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton have both. So the Bucks have only been in 3 competitive games so far this year. And those 3 games, Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo have played anywhere between 36 and 38 minutes. Jrue Holiday has played 34 to 38 minutes. In those 3 competitive games. Pat Connaughton, Torrey Craig, Sam Merrill are all out. So Connaughton being out, it just muddies the situation even more. We're getting a bunch of minutes from guys that wouldn't normally be in the rotation. I guess you could say Bryn Forbes gets a bit of a boost at 3.2K. Should play more than 20 minutes this game. He's only 3.2K. And then Dante DiVincenzo has scored 30-plus fantasy points in all 3 of those competitive games. And then Brook Lopez, he's going to likely see around 30 minutes in these competitive games. He's going to be the first guy to get pulled when games start to get out of hands. But so if you think this game stays competitive and if you want to stack it with Donovan Mitchell, make sure to have a couple of these Bucks guys in there. Giannis Antetokounmpo this year at 35% usage rating, 18.8% usage total rebound percentage, 25.3 assist percentage, averaging 1.64 fantasy points per minute. So if he's going to play 36, 38 minutes at 10.9K, this is a guy we were playing last year at 11.5K. So we're getting a small discount on him. And then Chris Middleton, Jrue Holiday, I think are both great plays as well. Move over to the Los Angeles Clippers and the Golden State Warriors at 232 over/under, and Clippers are -5 favorites. So they're healthy right now. So Marcus Morris, he made his season debut last year, so they're completely healthy right now. Marcus Morris ate into Nicholas Batum's minutes already. And so while this team is healthy, I'm not really interested in anyone outside of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Paul George this year has really been overall just straight up better than Kawhi Leonard. Paul George, 31.4% usage rating, 11.5 total rebound percentage, 21.3 assist percentage, averaging 1.33 fantasy points per minute. And then Kawhi Leonard, a 30.6 assist usage percentage, 8.9 total rebound percentage, 29.8 assist percentage, averaging 1.27 fantasy points per minute. So we still get a price discount on Paul George. But he's been more involved in the offense and far more efficient than Kawhi Leonard so far this year. And so I'm going to continue to take advantage of that on both sides, especially over here on FanDuel, where Paul George is only 8.8K. I think that's a great price tag on him, and Kawhi Leonard's $800 more than him. Would much rather go to Paul George in that situation. Now moving to the Golden State Warriors. Now these last 3 games have immense injury news that are likely going to be game time decisions, and so late swapping to these are going to be very vital. So Steph Curry is going to be a game time decision. Marquise Chris is out. Jordan Poole is also questionable, but Steph Curry, man, if he ends up missing this game, Brad Wanamaker has been the direct backup. I would expect him to start in his place. He has averaged 0.74 fantasy points per minute so far this year. And then Andrew Wiggins, I think, would benefit the most. He's only 6,600. He's pretty cheap on FanDuel as well. A 32% usage rating, 15.9 assist percentage, averaging 1.17 fantasy points per minute so far this year. But given these are very, very small sample sizes, we don't really know what this team is going to look look like out without Steph Curry on the court, outside of just being a bad basketball team. They're not even that great of a basketball team with Curry playing out of his mind. And then James Wiseman without Curry this year in about 30 minutes, a 34.4% usage rating, 17.7 total rebound percentage, averaging 1.38 fantasy points per minute. Marquise Chris is still out. Looks like he should probably play 24-26 minutes if he is avoiding foul trouble and the games do not blow out. So a ton of upside in James Wiseman. And then Kelly Oubre, he has only played 3 minutes total this entire season when it's not next to Steph Curry. So not much of a sample size to really even look at. And so this whole situation to me, if Steph Curry misses, seems like a trap to me. I'm probably going to be avoiding it if Steph Curry does miss the game. Move over to the Bulls and the Lakers, a 220 over under. Start with the Bulls. Lauri Markkanen, Tomas Satoransky, Ryan Arcidiacono, and Chandler Hutchison continue to all be out. But in the absence of Satoransky and Arcidiacono, Zach LaVine and Kobe White look to consistently play around 40 minutes. So we get 8.6K Zach LaVine, 7.3K Kobe White. I love both of them. Zach LaVine this year, a 30.9% usage rating, 21.1 assist percentage, averaging 1.19 fantasy points per minute. Kobe White, 22.5% usage rating, 23.8 assist percentage, averaging 0.99 fantasy points per minute. But they're going to be playing this big of minutes, and they want to stay competitive with this Lakers team, who are on a back-to-back, second leg of a back-to-back, so they could be a bit slower. I'm going to be all over these guys today, and I can almost guarantee they're going to be pretty low owned, just because it is a giant 10-game slate, and people aren't going to want to pay these price tags for some Bulls players, namely young guys like Kobe White and Zach LaVine, but I'm going to be all over it. Move over to the Los Angeles Lakers. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is questionable, so if he misses again, Kyle Kuzma is going to start in his place, and then Talon Horton-Tucker is going to get some extra minutes. Alex Caruso he returned last game from his COVID-19 protocol. He played 21 minutes. Anthony Davis and LeBron James, their prices are finally coming up. They're playing 34, 36 minutes. I think they're a bit too cheap, especially in the Chicago matchup. They're going to go under-owned yet again, but continue to be good plays. But unless one of these guys misses, I'm not really interested in any of these other Lakers guys. Just because they are so well-rounded, and then they're top-heavy in the sense of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So never really interested in the Lakers unless Anthony Davis and or LeBron James miss that game. Okay, so the last game of the slate, the Toronto Raptors at the Sacramento Kings. A 226 over-under. Raptors are 5-point favorites. So the Raptors are healthy right now. And then these are one of my favorite, like, if I need one more player in my lineup, I love plugging in one of these guys, especially OG Anunoby this year, because Fred VanVleet, Kyle Lowry, Pascal Siakam, and OG Anunoby should all consistently play 36-plus minutes in competitive games when they are not in foul trouble. So I like all of them, even OG Anunoby. I think he's too cheap, quite frankly. I keep talking about him. He's almost always an A-tier play in my cheat sheet, and especially over here on FanDuel. He is only 5.8K, I believe. 5.8K. He's going to play 36-plus minutes against the Sacramento Kings, who are absolutely piss poor on defense, and he doesn't even have the worst rates. He's averaging 0.79 fantasy points per minute, so if he can get you 30 points in cash games, that's completely fine at that price point. It looks like Fred VanVleet is kind of slowly but surely taking over this Raptors team, averaging 1.17 fantasy points per minute. And then center rotation for this team is a complete mess because now it's not only Aaron Baines and Chris Boucher fighting for minutes. Alex Len has fought himself into the rotation, so it's a giant mess. If you can pinpoint and predict a game that Chris Boucher is going to play 20-plus minutes, he's averaged over 1.5 fantasy points per minute. So if you can predict that game, you're going to do well. But as of right now, I have no inclination to believe that he's going to play big minutes. Now, like the Golden State game, this Kings game is going to be pivotal for your success in late swapping for this NBA slate, because De'Aaron Fox and Rashawn Holmes are both questionable. It looks like they're headed towards game time decisions. it's going to dictate the entire slate if these guys do end up missing, because Fox left last game after just 5 minutes, leading Tyrese Halliburton to replace him and play 35 minutes. Halliburton in that game had a 19.4% usage rating, 24 assist percentage, and he put up 44.25 fantasy points. And then so I would like Tyrese Halliburton at 5.4K. I think he would be a much better play than Cole Anthony if both of those guys ended up starting. And then Rashawn Holmes, if he does miss this game, instead of Hassan Whiteside grabbing the start, I think it would be Marvin Bagley just moving down to the 5, and they would add somebody else into the starting lineup, probably like Nemanja Bjelica. And then Hassan Whiteside, he'll probably just back up Bagley at the 5 and not play all that much. Bagley has been phased out of this rotation almost completely by now. He didn't even play last game. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this slate. How long is this video? 30 minutes, just over 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys. If you guys watch the entirety of this video, make sure to let me know in the comments. A big shout out to you guys. Yeah, long video, a lot of information, a lot of things to go over, but I will be in the Discord. Make sure to join that, man. All of my information in written form is in there, and my cheat sheets, my player pools, my full FanDuel lineups will be up there later in the day. And then remember, the most important thing is to be at the live stream. I couldn't stress this enough. There's going to be late breaking news throughout the entirety of this day, so you're going to need to be there. I'm going to go over it all, answer all your questions, help you guys build some lineups, but I appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck, and until next time, peace.